Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be reviewing and then giving away the Electric Eye BREAKpoint theme deck. This is a Lightning type and Psychic type theme deck that is based around Luxray. So what I'm going to do is the majority of this video will be reviewing this deck, and then at the end of the video I will state the rules to enter the giveaway. Last month I reviewed and then gave away the Wave Slasher theme deck. That was a water and grass type deck that was based around Greninja. At the end of this video I can compare those two decks as well to state which one I like better. Theme decks are $12.99 in stores. Most new sets when they're released come out with 2 theme decks. So I can turn the box around here, read the summary right here, show the cards that are in the deck and everything that you're going to get if you win the giveaway. But it says, eyes on the prize, command the gleaming eyes of Luxray and strike fast with the crackling fists of Electabuzz. Stare down your opponent with the hypnotic mastery and total focus of the Electric Eye theme deck. And it says, in this box you'll find 60 Pokemon card deck, 1 card checklist, 1 metallic coin, 2-player playmat and rule sheet, 1 code card to play the online deck, 1 deck box, and damage counters. And then here are the 60 cards on the inside. I have opened this theme deck already just so I could organize the 60 card deck. I'll show everything here and then get to the review. So on the inside you'll find the playmat, damage counters, and burn and poison marker. Looks like the checklist. Here is the deck box with the 60 cards, 59 in here, 60 with that card in the preview window. Now here is a very cool looking Mega Gyarados coin. This one's silver. The other theme deck had a red colored one, more of a flat looking coin. Here is the online TCG code card to unlock this deck for the online game. And then here is the featured card, a Luxray holo, has some shards in the background. So now we'll get on to actually reviewing each and every card inside this deck. The deck box here, have all the cards organized. So first up here there is a 3-2-2 line of Shanks, Luxio, and Luxray. No Luxray break in this theme deck. If you're looking to modify a theme deck, that would probably be one of the first places I look. So Shanks, 60 HP, so it's a good HP for a basic Pokemon. 2 moves. Roar says your opponent switches his or her active Pokemon with one of his or her bench Pokemon. And then Flop does 10 damage for 1 colorless energy card. So a decent starter type Pokemon to use in a deck. Roar might be useful if you use more of a spread attack type deck. So 3 Shanks cards. And then there's 2 Luxios, 2 Luxray. So Luxio a little bit below average HP with only 80. Bite does 20 damage, and then Thunderfang does 30 damage for 2 energy cards. Plus it paralyzes the defending Pokemon if you get a heads when you flip a coin. So a quicker attacking stage 1 card here, lower HP, but there is a Fighting Fury Belt trainer card you can attach here to Luxio to improve its HP. And then there's only the 1 Luxray in here because of that one in the preview window. 140 HP, a good HP for stage 2. Bite is its first move, 50 damage for 2 energy cards, so a good solid move there. And then Snarl does 100 damage for 3 energy cards, so above average damage. And it says, during your opponent's next turn, any damage done by attacks from the defending Pokemon is reduced by 20. So that improves Luxray's HP even more, making it more like 160 after using this move. So I like Luxray quite well. I actually like this entire line decently. I know Luxio has a little bit lower HP than most stage 1s, but that is alright. Both of its moves make up for it. So Electabuzz is next here. 2-2 line of Electabuzz and Electabuzz. So Electabuzz, 70 HP, a good HP. Knuckle Punch, so a little bit slower on the attack, but does do 20 damage. So a solid basic Pokemon there. And then Electivire here. Two of these, 110 HP for a stage 1. Knuckle Punch and Electro Slug are the two moves on it. 30 damage for Knuckle Punch. Electro Slug requires 3 energy cards and does 90 damage. So I'm a big fan of Snarl on Luxray and then Electro Slug on Electivire. Okay, next up here, Blitzel. There is a 2-1 line of Blitzel and Zebstrika. 60 HP, so a good HP again on a basic. Reckless Charge does 20 damage. However, it does do 10 damage to Blitzel, so that takes away its average HP. But if you're looking to do a fair amount of damage right away, using this as a starter type Pokemon, it wouldn't be a bad one to use. And then Zebstrika, above average HP. First ability on any of the Pokemon cards in this deck. Its ability is called Zap Zone. It says, damage from the attacks of your lightning-type Pokemon isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So that's pretty useful if they have a resistance to lightning type. This one will zap it, and it will not be able to be used. And then Crashing Bolt is the one move that this card has. 50 damage, plus 60 more damage if your opponent's active Pokemon has a fighting type resistance. So you could keep this card on your bench to utilize its ability, and then if the defending Pokemon has this stated resistance, you can move it to the active Pokemon spot and use Crashing Bolt every turn. So now we're on to the Psychic type Pokemon, and this deck does have some colorless type Pokemon in it. Honage here, so there is a 2-2 line of Honage and Doublade. 60 HP, so another basic Pokemon with a good HP. Only one move called Stab. It says, put 1 damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So, it's basically a 10 damage type move. Several good starter type Pokemons in this deck. And then Doublade, 2 of these. Lower HP reminds me of Luxio. Only one move called Stab Deeply, and it says put 3 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. I would have liked to have it say put 3 damage counters on any of your opponent's Pokemon, but it's basically doing 30 damage for 2 energy cards. So nothing too special there. That'd probably be one of the first lines I'd look to replace, just because it's not anything special. It's not terrible by any means, so you don't have to take it out if you're a beginner. Next up here is a 2-1 line of Drowsy and Hypno. 70 HP for Drowsy, so a good HP. Mumble does 10 damage, and then Focused Wish does 10 damage plus 20 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin. One thing I want to note on this card, it does have a higher retreat cost, so if you're just trying to use this as a starter type Pokemon using Mumble and then retreating it, you're going to have to add another energy card or use a switch trainer, which there aren't any in this deck, to retreat this card. So there's Hypno here. Just one, 90 HP. Second card with an ability in this deck called Goodnight Babies, and it says once during your turn you may leave both active Pokemon asleep. So if you have a trainer card that awakes Pokemon that are asleep, this ability may be more useful. That way you can use it right away, and the defending Pokemon will have to flip a coin to determine if they can awake from their slumber or not. And then Zen Headbutt does 50 damage for 2 energy cards. This is a very solid Stage 1 card overall. Okay, next up here, there is Esper. 2 Esper cards in this deck. Does Scratch for 10 damage. I do like that it requires colorless type energy, so you can attach either the lightning type or psychic type energy to this card. 2 of those. And then Meowstic here, which is the Stage 1 evolution of Esper. So Meowstic, 90 HP, 2 moves, Energy Present, allows you to attach up to 2 energy cards from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, so it can set that Pokemon up quickly. And then Psy Shot does 40 damage for 2 energy cards. Next up here, Scorpy, no Drapion or anything in this deck. Scorpy, 70 HP. Pin Missile is its only move that does 10 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 4 coins. So it could potentially do 40 damage. Trick Coin Trainer is always a good card to attach to Scorpy when using Pin Missile. Okay, so next up, we're on to the one line of colorless type Pokemon in this deck, a 2-2 line of Glameow and Purugly. Act Cute and Scratch are the two moves on this card that has 60 HP. Act Cute allows you to put tells your opponent to put a card from his or her hand onto the bottom of his or her deck, and then Scratch does 20 damage for 2 energy cards. So I would probably keep this card on the bench and try to evolve it into Purugly. Another Stage 1 card that has above average HP, Slash and Nyan Press. Slash does 30 damage for 2 energy cards, and then Nyan Press does 40 damage plus 40 more damage if you get a heads when you flip a coin. If you get a tails, it still paralyzes the defending Pokemon. So that is it for the Pokemon in this deck. Comparing it to the other theme deck from BREAKpoint, the Wave Slasher deck, I actually like these Pokemon a little bit better. If you're just looking to use this deck as is, this deck doesn't require so many evolutions to actually do a fair amount of damage, so it's quicker on the attack and it can do more damage right away. I think the other deck has more potential, but for a beginner, if you're looking to do for a solid deck, I think this one would be a little bit better. Neither are above average or below average. Both of them are very average overall. Now we'll get into the trainer cards. Starting off with this Fighting Fury Belt. I'm a huge fan of this trainer card. It should definitely be in any deck you're building. It says, the basic Pokemon this card is attached to gets 40 more HP, and its attacks do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So any starter type Pokemon you want to use is going to have basically 90 to 100 HP unless you really use a weak Pokemon in the active Pokemon spot, like a Magikarp or a Feebas, that type of thing. So I'm a big fan of Fighting Fury Belt. It's one of the more valuable trainer cards from BREAKpoint. And then there's one Great Ball that says to look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Pokemon you find there and put it into your hand. So if you need another basic Pokemon on your bench, or looking for an evolution like a Meowstic or a Zebstrike or an Electabuzz, Luxio, Luxray, that type of thing, Great Ball would be a very good card to use. Next up here, there's Max Elixir. I like this card as well. It says to look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach a basic energy card you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. So a quick way to potentially get 2 energy cards on the same Pokemon in one turn. Then we have Misty's Determination. This says to discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Then we have 2 potion cards. Just heals 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. And then Professor's Letter. There are 2 of these. It says to search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Always good to have plenty of energy cards in your hand. And then there's a Shauna. It says to shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw 5 cards. And then there's 2 Tierno cards. It says to draw 3 cards, supporter cards, so you only can use 1 supporter per turn. And then the last trainer card is Wally. It says to search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. You can do that right away, even the first turn. So this is a very good supporter card. These trainer cards are actually exactly the same as what was in the Wave Slasher deck. The trainer cards in these 2 theme decks work better with the Wave Slasher theme deck just because that theme deck is based more on evolution and spending time setting up your Pokemon. So I like the Pokemon better in this deck. I like the trainer cards better with the Pokemon in the Wave Slasher deck. And then as far as energy cards go, 9 each of Lightning and Psychic type energy. So there you have it. There is all the cards in this theme deck. Again, if I was to give this card a rating, I'd give it a 3 out of 5 rating. That's usually the rating I give to most theme decks that I review. There's not anything that I really dislike or like about this deck. It's a solid deck for a beginner to play with. what I would recommend for any beginner is just to go out and buy the newest theme deck out there and just learn the strategies, sort of how to play the TCG, and then go one by one and replace cards in this deck. You could always put a Luxray break in here, or I'd probably first off try and get a little bit better of trainer cards in this deck. But overall, both decks are very similar. I would say I like this deck a tad bit better. The other deck, Wave Slasher, has a lot more potential, but both decks are very average overall. So now on to the giveaway portion of this theme deck. Very easy to enter this giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and then in the comment section of this video, state which theme deck from BREAKpoint you like better, either Wave Slasher or this deck, which is called Electric Eye. Once you've done that, you're entered. At the end of March, I will be messaging the winner with a YouTube private message saying that they have won the theme deck. I'll just ask for their address and I can send the theme deck to them in the mail. The way that you access private messages on YouTube is go to www.youtube.com/messages. And there you should see a message from me if you win. I will not be making a video, just a private message sent out on March 31st. So, good luck to everyone who enters the giveaway. If you have any questions on any of the theme decks that I've reviewed lately, or just any questions in general, feel free to private message me or comment on this video. So, thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.